Thank you so much, Dean Bishop, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I hope that many of you are able to join us at 10 a.m. to welcome Dean Bishop, but I would like to reiterate an incredibly warm welcome to her from the Alumni Awards Committee. This is my favorite day of the year, and I'm incredibly excited to celebrate all of our exemplary and highly accomplished Alumni Award winners today. We're going to jump right in. So the first award I'm going to introduce is the Young Alumni Award, which recognizes a recent alum who shows great leadership and promise in their field. Introducing this year's awardee is Dr. Detris Adelabu.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Detris Adelabu, a clinical professor in counseling psychology and applied human development. And it is my great pride and honor to stand before you this morning to present the Young Alumni Award to Ty Robinson. Ty is someone who has left a lasting mark on our community. During his time at Wheelock, Ty exemplified leadership, advocacy, and a commitment to equity. From the moment he stepped into our program, Ty demonstrated a passion for creating spaces of belonging and support, most notably by founding the Counselors of Color in Training organization, also known as COSITO. COSITO fosters community, promotes cultural celebration, and advocates for diversity, equity, and systemic change, and mental health counseling, all while serving as a resource and voice for underrepresented students of color. Through Ty's leadership, COSITO not only transformed the student experience for many, but also strengthened our collective commitment to anti-racism and inclusivity within our department. Today, COSITO continues to provide community, affirmation, and professional development for underrepresented students of color. Ty's impact did not stop at Wheelock. His work extended beyond the classroom as he led discussions, developed resources, and fostered connections among students and the wider community. Whether it was through hosting workshops, advocating for an anti-racist committee, or representing his peers on a national stage at conferences, Ty consistently demonstrated vision, passion, and leadership. Now, as a PhD candidate in the Restoring Hope Lab at the University of Maryland, Ty researches how systemic racism impacts the health and well-being of minoritized groups, as well as how clinicians can begin to liberate and heal their communities through culturally informed interventions. Ty is the recipient of many national honors. He is currently the American Psychological Association Mental Health Substance Abuse Services Predoctoral Fellow, and was also named their 2023 Policy Fellow. At the University of Maryland and in his professional organizations, Ty continues his impactful work, focusing on addressing systemic inequities and improving mental health services for underrepresented communities. Ty, your contributions have inspired us all and left a legacy here at Wheelock. For all that you have done and for all that you will continue to do, it is my great pleasure to present you with the Young Alumni Award. Congratulations, Ty.
Trying not to cry. So I just want to say thank you so much for this incredible honor, and it means so much to be standing here today because I get a chance to acknowledge the younger me and reflect on my journey here at BU, which was both deeply challenging and profoundly transformative. My time at BU occurred during COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the unjustified killing of Black men, George Floyd being the most prominent of many. As a Black man myself from the South, where I struggled to understand who I am and where to go, I never thought I would end up at BU, a highly ranked institution. While here, my path often felt like a constant negotiation between who I am and how I was perceived by others. Given my current scholarship, it would be wrong for me to not acknowledge and learn and say that I learned that I was in a system of oppression that also was built on racism and discrimination. These experiences were not just an occasional confrontation, but a pervasive force that presented itself in subtle and overt ways. For so long, I internalized a lot of negative messages around my identity within the academic system. When I was strong and doing well academically, sang praises and excitement, but when I was low and making mistakes, as all students do, there were moments I did feel alone. The subtle exclusions and the constant questioning of my abilities all weighed heavily on me, shaping the way I saw myself. And it's hard not to question your own worth when you feel like you have to prove your humanity, your intellect, and your right to exist within the system. And yet, just as Langston Hughes has declared his right to belong at the table, I knew that I needed to carve out a space that celebrated folks that looked like me and others, who could be seen, supported, as well as healing. And that's why I started the Counselors of Color and Training organization known as COSITO, a space that wasn't just about survival, but about healing and thriving, a space where we could acknowledge the harm inflicted by the system that isn't built for us, and at the same time affirm that we belong here, that we contributed to academia and the mental health field in ways that are valuable and transformative. COSITO became a foundation for me, a place where we could process the pain of racism while also creating a vision for what the future could look like for us. A future where students of color don't just survive academia, but succeed, thrive, and lead it. Today, I have the opportunity to publish and write about how systemic and interpersonal racism impacts the mental health and physical health of minoritized communities that I'm a part of. I recently just co-authored a case study focused on addressing anti-Black racism using the white heterosexual male privilege model by Janet Helms, used for counseling psychology and beyond. And as well as mentioned, receiving competitive national fellowships that put me in a space of students of color where I can feel uplifted. Dr. Detris Adelabu, Natalie Haywood, sitting right here, Courtney Harris, Lauren Wong, Liana Molosky, and Alexis Ume. We together showed that despite the challenges, we will continue to keep our fight going. Thank you for your uplifting support of a simple idea that became so much more and allowed me to turn my challenges into triumphs. My experiences at BU, while difficult, prepared me well to continue to strive. And so for that, thank you all.
Thank you, Ty, for your remarkable work. And I want to say that if anyone else feels like they should not cry, I actually encourage you to do so because I probably will, and then I won't be the only one, so I appreciate that. The next award recognizes a member of our alumni community that has made outstanding contributions to the university. This award is going to a faculty member who I've had the pleasure of knowing during my time at Wheelock, and whom is recognized among her students as compassionate, motivating, and an incredibly passionate leader in her field. I could go on, but then I'd be taking the job of Dr. Eleonora Villegas-Reimers, who is going to come and introduce this year's award winner of Outstanding Contribution to the Alma Mater.
Thank you, Addie, and good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Claire White, and to celebrate Claire as the recipient of this year's Outstanding Contribution to Alumni and Alma Mater Award. Claire graduated from historic Wheelock in 1978 and her master's in 1984, and worked side by side in many hospitals and other healthcare settings for a number of years before she came back to Wheelock as a faculty member in 1994. That is when I met her. For those of you who don't know Claire, know that she is one of the most caring human beings and professionals you will ever meet. As one of the pioneer child life specialists of our times, and I am sure that she would cringe hearing me say that, she has been one of the forces behind the development of child life program at historic Wheelock and at BU Wheelock, and the professional field of child life recognized widely now in the United States and abroad. We have the successful child life program we have because of Claire's leadership and work. I don't mean to imply that she did this alone. She didn't, but she was one of the leaders who worked to bring attention to child life and strengthen the professional standards of child life specialists and programs that prepare them. She worked side by side with many colleagues, from Dr. Barry Brazelton and Dr. Judy Palfrey, both at Children's Hospital, to Wheelock and BU Wheelock colleagues, such as Richard Thompson, Evelyn Hauslein, Suzanne Grasha, Paul Thayer, Caroline Gallagher, Deanie Coleman, and many others, to educate many, including me, about the role of child life specialists and the importance of the field. I still remember how she guided me to learn about the field and its requirements, introduced me to their leadership, and actually invited me to meetings and conferences which I attended eager to learn more. I knew very little about child life before that. She has been one of the leaders in what I call the professionalization of the field, participating in committees and meetings of the Association of Child Life Professionals to develop clear criteria for program accreditation, for qualifying for the credential of child life specialist, and other amazing contributions like that. I truly mean when I say that Claire has been an outstanding contribution to alumni and Alma Mater, and also to the profession of child life. Some of you may have noticed that Claire is not here with us today. Claire is at the funeral of one of her mentors and friends, our mentors and friends, another child life specialist, former faculty and alumna of Wheelock College, our dear Marcia Hartley, who passed about a month ago. And today is her funeral. For those of you who knew Marcia, you understand how important Marcia was in the development of our child life program and the many child life specialists who are alumni of our program too. I know that several people had planned to be here to honor Claire, are now accompanying her as we all say goodbye to Marcia today. Claire is represented today by her grandniece, Hannah Bates, who I have the pleasure of knowing also a number of years ago when she was about this height, and by other members of her family. And I do want to acknowledge that Claire's brother and sister-in-law are here, and several grandnieces and grandnephew are here. And we are very honored that you have chosen to be with us. Hannah is now a high school teacher in Lynn, Massachusetts, and she will share Claire's message in her absence. Thank you, Hannah, for being here with us representing Auntie Claire. And thank you and welcome to all of you, to our extended family. Thank you.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here and present this speech on behalf of my great aunt, Claire White. She writes, "It is an honor to be the recipient of this award. Thank you to the BU Wheelock Alumni Awards Committee. Special thanks to Eleonora, who presented the award, and to my grandniece, Hannah, who is reading this brief thank you note. I also want to thank my beloved family, Dean Bishop, former Dean Chard, and the amazing BU Wheelock faculty and staff who are attending this event. I am sorry not to be able to be in person today, and let me share why. As it is connected to the spirit of Wheelock in my professional child life journey. Sadly, one of my significant mentors, Marcia Hartley, recently died, and I am attending her memorial service. Marcia lived a rich, beautiful life for 89 years. Marian Wright Edelman, in her book, Lanterns, a memoir of mentors, describes her mentors as lanterns because they provided her with beacons of hope and inspiration. That is exactly how I would describe what Marcia has meant to me. Marcia was one of my child life instructors and internship supervisors at historic Wheelock College. she was an alum of Wheelock. She returned to college after having a successful career as a pediatric nurse and came to Wheelock College to complete her master's degree in the newly launched Child Life program. Wheelock was the first to offer an academic Child Life program. Marcia was then hired as a Child Life instructor who I was blessed to learn from. Marcia always saw something in me that I never did. She always encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone and seek out experiences and opportunities that I did not feel I was qualified for. Marcia made connections and created supportive relationships with students. She was an exceptional mentor. After my graduation, we stayed connected. I knew Marcia would always offer sound professional advice as I continued my career in child life. After a few years, Marcia mentioned she was applying to work on a national collaborative research study, which followed the development of premature infants for the first 5 years of life, and encouraged me to apply, which I did. It was wonderful to work with Marcia. From instructor and mentor, she then became a dear colleague and valued friend. After the research project ended, Marcia returned to teaching at Wheelock, and I returned to work in a pediatric hospital in my role as a child life specialist, providing psychosocial, developmental, and emotional support to children and their families. I also was the clinical supervisor for Wheelock child life students completing internships. A few years later, Marcia called me and shared that Wheelock was conducting a job search for child life instructor and recommended that I should apply. Now, for those of you who do not know me, I have an incredibly soft and quiet voice. I immediately said to Marcia that I did not feel qualified and that I did not think I had a teaching voice. Marcia, again, in a truly kind and supportive way, said to me, "I know you will be a very good instructor and you should interview." Out of respect for Marcia, I interviewed and was offered the position. I could hear Marcia's words, "Get out of your comfort zone." So you see, without Marcia, I would not be where I am today, still teaching child life to the wonderful graduate students who I learn from every day. Nor would I have had this wonderful experience of working with supportive faculty and colleagues, both at historic Wheelock and BU Wheelock. Nor would I be receiving this award today. For me, this is what makes Wheelock so special: the mentorship, connections, and relationships that faculty and staff build with their students. The kindness and care that they demonstrate and the encouragement they offer to students to try something that gets them out of their comfort zone. I truly feel blessed to be an alum of Wheelock. Again, thank you for this honor and congratulations to the other Alumni Awards recipients today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing Claire's message and for accepting this award on her behalf today. I think that, when we think about how Claire could be here celebrating her own accomplishments today and using her voice to share her profession, and instead she's celebrating the mentorship, friendship, and life of a trusted friend and colleague. It's a true testament to her character, and her voice, although soft, is one that she uses to constantly uplift others. So thank you all for helping me uplift Claire's accomplishments today. Thank you both. So this is our first year introducing the Distinguished Alumni Award, and this award goes to recognize folks who have made exemplary contributions in their field. And the hardest part of the Alumni Awards Committee is selecting one award recipient. So this year, we decided to choose two. So I would like to invite Bobbi up to the stage to introduce our first winner of the Distinguished Achievement Award.
Dr. Rose Cardarelli earned a master's degree in policy, planning, and leadership from the former BU School of Education program based in Germany. She also holds a bachelor's degree from Fitchburg State University, a master's degree in health administration from Baylor University, and a Doctor of Education degree in educational leadership and administration from William and Mary. Dr. Cardarelli proudly served in the Medical Service Corps of the U.S. Army, holding the titles of Battalion and Brigade Commander, Inspector General, Hospital Chief Executive and Operating Officer, and Hospital Chief of Managed Care. She leveraged her expertise in international engagement as the Director of Outreach and Professor of Human Security at the Near East South Asia Center for Strategic Studies. She was an advisor to Oxfam for health and educational portions of the Global Impact on Refugees, which was approved by the UN in 2019. Dr. Cardarelli is a professor of human security, serving as an NGO partner to the United Nations and the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. She has also held roles as the Rotary International Representative to UNICEF and a Social Emotional Learning Ambassador for UNESCO. She is the founder and CEO of the Education for All Coalition, a global NGO dedicated to creating education opportunities and finding solutions that empower displaced and disadvantaged children in emergency situations, refugee camps, and settlements around the world. She is also president of Eagle Development, an international education company that enhances national security through strategic leadership development in academic, corporate, and government settings. It is my honor to present BU Wheelock's Distinguished Achievement Award to Dr. Rose Cardarelli.
Goodness, that makes me feel really old. Well, thank you so much for this amazing recognition and for the committee that recognized me and for all of the colleagues that are here today. I'm so honored to be with you. It's wonderful to be back in Boston, and I'm thrilled to be with Wheelock College since I was a product of the SED school. This is truly an honor. I'd like to share a little bit more about myself and why being here today is so important to me. After high school, I couldn't wait to see the world, so I joined the Army. And after my first tour, I returned home to pursue my undergrad degree with my GI Bill. I later received a commission as a Medical Service Corps officer and realized that education was the key to my progression in the military. So I began taking evening classes for my master's degree with BU while I was on active duty and assigned overseas. Actually, I think BU and I started this whole distance learning thing back in the 80s. I really do. Clearly, it was my good fortune that BU had the foresight to accept me as a non-traditional student. That opportunity contributed to my successful careers in the military, as a university professor, and now as the CEO of the humanitarian organization, which is formally associated with the United Nations. My organization, the Education for All Coalition, provides advocacy for children's rights, alternative education, resources, and resilient support for displaced children around the world. We know that children who have experienced conflict and crisis are traumatized, but interventions of kindness, play-based learning, and resilient building programs can help heal their wounds. I have seen firsthand what education means to displaced refugee children. I have witnessed the sacrifices and trauma teachers have experienced as they educate children in conflict zones. Sometimes teachers are exhausted from working 2 shifts with children who speak different languages and display behavioral problems because they don't feel safe. So it is with sincere gratitude to Boston University and the Wheelock College of Education and Human Development that I am just so thrilled to be here, because it prepared me for a life of service grounded in my education. Boston University continues to lead in education and innovation, and I'm so proud to be an alumna. To those of you who are students, I celebrate you for the profession you have chosen. And to the teachers and educators here, I salute you for your service to nation and to community. We all know that education can be transformative. Everyone needs access to a quality education so they can think critically, adapt to a changing world, and gain needed skills. Education facilitates action, and action affects the whole of society. UNICEF has a saying, education is the passport to the world. I just left the Summit of the Future and the General Assembly at the United Nations, where leaders came together to design the Pact for the Future. I will leave you with some of my brief thoughts. We are standing at a pivotal moment in human history, a moment that demands our collective attention, resolve, and unwavering commitment to shape a peaceful future that is safe, equitable, and sustainable. I believe we are called upon to address 4 critical global challenges during these difficult times. The first being the plight of millions of displaced children who are forced to leave their homes in search of safety and stability. Number 2, climate change events that are impacting everyone, but most especially the most vulnerable. And number 3, the need for youth empowerment to cultivate informed, active citizens who will drive sustainable development. And 4, the need for educational opportunities for every child that is safe, accessible, inclusive, and adaptable to our changing world. With that, again, I am so grateful to be here, and thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And although it may be hard to believe, our second recipient of this award is just as outstanding. So I would like to invite Amanda Thacher to introduce our next award winner.
Good morning. A 1974 alumnus of Boston University's School of Education, now BU Wheelock, Dr. Roger Harris is a national and international award-winning urban educator committed to the positive development of administrators and teachers who serve marginalized youth. Throughout his career, Dr. Harris has worked in both charter and traditional Boston public high schools, middle and elementary schools as a classroom teacher, athletic coach, mentor, dean, assistant headmaster, and principal. Dr. Harris is a native of Roxbury, Mass., who attended Boston Public Schools. He served 3 years of active duty with the U.S. Marine Corps, including a 13-month tour of duty with a combat unit in Vietnam. At BU, Roger was a football standout who earned a reputation as most valuable backfield player and a bachelor's degree before continuing to earn a master's degree from UMass Boston and a Doctor of Philosophy degree from Boston College. Dr. Harris has been the recipient of numerous civic and community awards, including the U.S. Department of Education's National Distinguished Principal Award, the Massachusetts Principal of the Year Award, the John Stanford American Hero Award, and the President's Award from the NAACP of Boston, to name a few. Harris has served as faculty director and assistant professor in the Educational Leadership and Policy Studies Department at BU's School of Education and has inspired the careers of many outstanding local, national, and international thought leaders, school superintendents, university professors, and policymakers. Currently, Dr. Harris lives in suburban Atlanta and is the president of Urban School Specialists, which he founded with his wife, Dr. Cheryl Watson Harris. It is my great honor to present the BU Wheelock Distinguished Achievement Award to Dr. Roger Harris.
Good morning, still good morning, right? I first would like to thank the Creator for allowing us to gather and celebrate during this wonderful weekend. I also want to congratulate the other honored recipients being recognized today. And lastly, I want to thank the BU family for honoring me. BU Wheelock family. And I need to recognize my father's youngest sister, Aunt Juanita Ward in the back. I appreciate her coming out, so thank you. In 1967, I was a U.S. Marine serving with a combat unit on a hill at the DMZ in Vietnam. We were the most northern outpost that the Marines had at the time. We were so close to North Vietnam, we literally could look right into North Vietnam. We could see the sparks from the artillery guns when they would fire them on us, and they fired on us every hour. We were bombarded hourly, and 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines lost probably 47, 48% of our men. Many of my fellow Marines died on that hill. The famous historian, filmmaker Ken Burns has captured our story with footage in his award-winning documentary, The Vietnam War, which is on PBS and Netflix. I'm one of the Marines featured in Ken's documentary. Around that time, I had the opportunity to call home. We could put in a chit for a call home, and you'd have to wait maybe 6 or 8 weeks, and then you'd get a 3-minute call. And I was able to call my mother, and when I got my mother, I said, "Ma, I just want to apologize for all the problems I caused when I was in high school, and I'm sorry." And she said, "Why are you talking to me like this?" And I said, "Because you'll probably never see me again." I said, "We're being sacrificed. We're like pawns in a chess game. Everybody's dying." And my mother said, I talk to God every day, and you're special. You're not going to die in Vietnam." And I said, "Ma, everybody's mother thinks that their son is special." And I said, "I'm putting pieces of special people in bags." And my mother kept saying, "You're not going to die in Vietnam." And the last thing she said to me before I hung up, she said, "God has a plan for you." And I said, "Yeah, right." And I hung up. And it was on that hill that I began to pray. And every time the rockets and the artillery would come in, I had 3 prayers that I would pray, and I had a promise that I'd made to myself and to God. And the first prayer was, "God, please, if I get hit, let me die," because guys were getting arms and legs blown off, and I didn't want to come back like that. My second prayer was, I just want to see my little girl and hold her up and kiss her, because my daughter was born while I was in Vietnam. And my third prayer was, I want to play college football. The backstory to that is, I went to high school at Boston, and I had planned to play football at English high school because it had the best football team in the city. And I used to tell my grandmother, "I'm going to go to English high school, play football, then I'll go to college and play football, and I'll go to the NFL, then I'm going to buy a house for you, and I'll have people cleaning your house." She used to clean folks' houses. So I said, "I'm going to have people cleaning your house." And I got to high school, and my coach didn't even let me put on the pads. He thought I was too skinny, and he didn't see me as a football player. And so I barely got through high school and joined the Marine Corps. But while I was in Vietnam, I read about a Negro quarterback at Wake Forest. This is in 1967. He was in the military newspaper, and this Negro quarterback at Wake Forest University upset South Carolina. And I'm reading this article, and his name was Fred Summers. And I turned to the Marine in the hole with me, and I said, you know, I played Park League football in Boston, and our quarterback's name was Freddie Summers. I wonder if this is the same guy. And I wrote him a letter. A month later, I got a letter back. He said, yeah, it's me. He said, they think I'm a superstar. And he said, if you were here, you'd be starting running back. You're better than all these guys. And my whole attitude changed, you know, about dying. And I just wanted to come home. So I wanted to play college football. And as you can see, you know, I was one of the fortunate soldiers who made it back. And all my prayers came true. I was able to see, hold, and kiss my little daughter, and she's here with me now. Benita, can you stand? She's an educator, too, in the Boston Public Schools. Boston University played an integral role in my story. Boston University and the late football coach, Larry Navio, assisted in making the other two dreams come true. I played football at Boston University, received the most valuable backfield player, and a bachelor's degree. The degree gave me the opportunity to serve as an award-winning educator in Boston's public schools for over 40 years, as a classroom teacher, athletic coach, dean, mentor, and administrator. I was able to assist with the growth and development of some amazing individuals who had gone on to positively touch the lives of young people in this city and across the nation. Some of them are here today. Could anyone who has worked with me in the past as an educator please stand? Jillian, Marty, Raymond, Jinwei, Jalane, Ms. Dabinga. These are some of the most incredible educators that you'll ever find in America, right here. Thank you so much. I'm a blessed man. One of my children recently asked me, he said, Dad, why are you still working? You know, you've had an amazing career. Why aren't you just relaxing? You should just be playing golf or fishing. And my response was and remains, when I think about the Marines who didn't live to come back home to their families, or those who lost limbs, or those who are homeless, living under highways, standing at lights with cups, asking for change, you know, I count my blessings, and I remember my promise. And as the late, great poet Robert Frost wrote, I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. As long as I can breathe, I'm going to do as much as I can for as many as I can for as long as I can. Thank you, Wheelock. Thank you, Wheelock. Thank you, BU, for awarding me with this prestigious award. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you both, and congratulations. And I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank both of our award winners for their service to our country as well. So if you could all join me. The next award, and our final award of the morning, I'm used to saying evening, goes to someone who has embodied the work and the spirit of the founder of our institution, Lucy Wheelock. In 1888, Lucy Wheelock set forth on creating a college with values rooted in exemplary service, advocacy, social justice, and systemic change. Our final award winner of the morning has exhibited a deep regard for these values, which she continues to uphold in her own profession. I'd like to invite Eleonora to the stage again to share more about this year's Lucy Wheelock Award winner, Yadira Sanchez.
First, let me congratulate all of you who have received these awards. I am so humbled sitting in this room with all of you. So thank you so much for being here with us. But now let me introduce you to our newest award winner, Yadira Sanchez. It is truly a huge pleasure and an honor to to introduce Dr. Yadira Sanchez, a person who I have known for almost a lifetime and who I admire deeply. We honor her today with the Lucy Wheelock Award, which honors an alumna or alumnus who has demonstrated exemplary service and leadership to their profession or their community, including advocating for social justice, systemic change, and diversity. Dr. Sanchez, as she's known here, is a doctor in clinical psychology who started her higher education journey at historic Wheelock in 1988. She graduated from Wheelock in 1991 and then continued to complete a number of programs, including master's and doctoral degrees, which prepare her with skills and credentials that she has used consistently to improve the lives of children, youth, families, communities, and in her most recent work, the entire island of Puerto Rico, her home. Looking at her resume is looking at an amazing list of accomplishments, awards, and recognitions, and to a significant number of trainings and courses and programs completed and offered. She is truly a great example of a lifelong learner. I had the extremely good fortune of meeting Yadira when she was a first-year student at Wheelock. She was new, and I was new too. We connected quickly, not only because we both spoke Spanish as our first language. I actually asked her on the very first day of class how she pronounced Yadira, because I had no idea how to say that in English. She laughed, I laughed then when we realized that I didn't need to pronounce it any other way. But because of our commitment, we were also identified because of our commitment to education, families, and improving our world. After she graduated, we kept in touch from afar, and then about 2 years ago, she came to see me in the office as she had identified a significant issue with the reading ability of children in Puerto Rico. And she had studied, gotten a credential that would allow her to improve reading skills, but she realized she needed much more support than what she could do by herself. By then, she had co-founded Lectores para el Futuro, Readers for the Future, in Puerto Rico, and had partnered with a number of associations, schools, teacher organizations, and even the Department of Education in the island. She had learned that the National Center for the Improvement of Reading was now housed here at BU Wheelock, and wondered if I could introduce her. Fast forward to this past spring, and several of us spent a week in Puerto Rico helping with professional development workshops for teachers, meeting with university leaders and foundation leaders, and completed the trip with a morning with the Secretary of Education. Each of these people and organizations could not have praised Yadira and her work better than they did. For me, this is a dream come true. See one of my first students at Wheelock be recognized for actually having changed systems, improved the lives of children and families, and knowing that her commitment and work continue as strongly as it started. Congratulations, Yadira, and especially thank you. Thank you on behalf of all the children and families and communities whose lives you have and continue to support and improve with your work every day.
I can wing this.
A little bit. Okay. Thank you.
Buenos días. So let's see how far I get without crying. I'm deeply honored to receive the Alumni Award. It means so much to me to be recognized by an institution and community that I hold in such high regard. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the college, the selection committee, and my mentors, but especially my husband and my daughters who have supported me. Okay. When I reflect on my journey, I realized that this achievement is not just a personal milestone, but a testament of the collaborative efforts and support of many people along the way. This award symbolizes not just my work, but the commitment of educators, psychologists, and colleagues and advocates who share the vision of transforming education for the better. I want to extend a special thank you to the educators and mentors who guided and inspired me throughout all my career. There has been many, but I have to especially thank you to Eleonora Villegas, oh my God, who believed in me when nobody could, who believed in me when, as a 15-year-old Puerto Rican, I started a bachelor. I'm so sorry. Okay, she saw in me what I could not see. She believed in me, she supported me, and pushed me with a lot of care. Your wisdom and encouragement have been invaluable to me to persevere. Okay. Thanks to Ansel for your support and believing in the work that I do today. It has been a pleasure to collaborate with you. Your visit to Puerto Rico was transformative. To my colleagues in the field of education, all of you here, this award is as much mine as it's yours. Together we have worked tirelessly to innovate, advocate, and elevate the standards of teaching and learning. Your dedication to improving student outcome and advancing social emotional learning initiatives have been a constant source of inspiration. I want to acknowledge the students and the families who have been the heart of everything I do. It's their success and well-being that motivates me to push boundaries of what can be achieved in education. This award is a reflection of a shared commitment of the ideals of social justice, equity, systematic change, and I'm inspired by the legacy of Lucy Wheelock and grateful for the opportunity to contribute to these values. It is a privilege to be part of this community that prioritizes inclusivity and strives to make a meaningful impact in the world, just like the Dean mentioned this morning. I'm excited to keep working, to create a positive change, to inspire future generations, and for all of you who are students, keep moving forward and moving that needle. Thank you. Thank you once again for this incredible recognition. I'm truly grateful and deeply touched.
Thank you all, and also thank you for not making me be the only person that cries on the stage tonight. I just want to give one more round of applause for all of our award winners today. I know that as you folks are sitting here congratulating and celebrating all of our award winners, there are probably several of you in this room who are thinking of peers, colleagues, friends, and former students who have also accomplished great things in their work. And so I would like to invite you to make a calendar invite for yourself to nominate them for next year's awards, because we love seeing all of those nominations. So I always like to bring that up because now is when our ideas are most fresh. So please submit your nominations for all of the people you're thinking of right now for next year. Speaking of the committee, if you could all stand up, those committee members. It is an honor and a pleasure to work with you every year, and I truly, deeply appreciate everything that you put into making this event a success. For those of you who would like to engage with the committee next year, and I invite you to find me this morning or send me an email, because we always love new faces and new ideas, and we would love to see some of you on the committee next year as well, so please let us know.